quorum. I will call this meeting to order at 6:03. We do have a change. We're going to be discussing during motion for discussion. Right there. But yeah, ECP assigned to general fund. We're going to add that to number 8. Yeah. Okay. Are there any other additions?
More a question. I think this is the last thing I asked at the meeting earlier or last week before my computer died. Should we have an item for the Act 73 consolidation thing here to approve that, or do we need to do that? I wasn't clear on that. Just the letter, the intent bit of that.
No, no. I don't think we need to approve it, Elizabeth. You can chime in.
No, I don't think we need to.
No.
Certainly the other boards we're not going to. We can, but
especially seeing the letter's not done, unless it is done.
Well, there's a draft of it out. There's definitely a draft of it out, but
yeah.
I don't think, it's not really enough time to read it, comment on it, and vote on it.
Yeah, no, totally cool. Just checking.
Thank you, Dave. That's a good point. Any other changes, additions? Okay, we're gonna jump right in with BOCES. Jill has been kind enough to grace us with her digital presence. Take over.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you again for taking the time to host me. I sincerely appreciate it. Back in June, I had presented information to this board around the intention of Vermont Learning Collaborative to transition to a board of cooperative educational service agency. Since we met, I am pleased to tell you that we currently have 3 founding members who have ratified the Articles of Agreement. That has included Mountain View Supervisory Union, Springfield School District, and then most recently, Wyndham Northeast Supervisory Union has also voted to ratify the Articles of Agreement. I'm here this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions that folks may have after spending some time looking at the document.
Tonight we vote.
Right. Yeah.
So if you have questions, let's see your answer now.
Jill, do you know what sort of what would be the first priority for creating shared services, or is there one?
So we do have established goals that are outlined within the Articles of Agreement, and there's 5 that are considered priorities. They include helping to support staffing and hiring, shared professional development, shared related services and special education services, and that does include specialized regional programs. Consultation is another focus of our goals, and those are really the priorities. We are not limited to those. If our membership indicates that there are other pressing needs, for example, transportation, which is really cost prohibitive, especially for those students who are requiring transportation to an out-of-district setting. That is something that the agency could move forward with, as just an example.
And so in voting on this, this is more informational for everybody. In voting yes on this, at this point, from my understanding of the documents, we are agreeing to move forward. There's no financial responsibility until the next steps are complete. I mean, this is just agreeing to begin to create an organization and creating the system for moving forward. Does that sound like a good summary?
Yes, that was a very good summary. And to clarify, the supervisory union, so Windsor Southeast has already made a financial commitment to the agency for this year. So thereby, if the articles were ratified this evening, there is no other financial commitment other than whatever goods or services the supervisory union may need. Next year, because there is a membership fee structure, next year there would be a membership fee as the BOCES again grounds itself and begins to grow and begins to become more financially stable with regular revenue streams. Those membership fees would ultimately decrease, and the goal is that they would be eradicated over time.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions, comments? More questions for Jill? Okay, thank you, Jill.
Of course.
Do you want to save the vote for later or do it when Jill is present?
I'd like to save the vote for later. Yeah, because there are people here to probably to do public participation, and we have a section for discussion. I don't foresee an issue with it.
I don't either.
Yeah. I'm just surprised that Hartford hasn't joined, but yeah.
I know. And Jill, you're welcome to stay, or I can text you when the vote happens.
That's very kind. I believe the board has all of the language for the vote. So I will leave you to your very important work. But again, I appreciate the time and the opportunity to answer any questions that you have.
Thanks, Jill.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of minutes. Again, this month, we have two. There's two last month as well. June 23rd, 2025. I will take a motion to approve the minutes for that day.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the minutes? I mean, I have noticed just the exacting sort of clarity of it is quite nice. Okay, I will take a voice vote. All in favor of approving the minutes for June 23rd, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye. Any no, say no. Okay. Any abstentions? Okay. August 18th, 2025, that was the retreat. I will take a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, I will take a voice vote again. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
I
Any opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Okay, thank you. Public participation and announcements. Public comments is not legally required, but we believe it is crucial for us to hear from our community members about their concerns over issues. Through these meetings, our board models for our students how to conduct public discourse, and that the board and members of our community can approach controversial issues in a civil and constructive manner and can demonstrate mutual respect. Having said that, please note that the board is here to listen. Public comment period is not designed for discussion. Please start by identifying yourself and the town you reside in. Okay. Daniel Wars. As your hand raised, go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Great. 2 minutes, I think. Is that right?
3.
3? Great. I'll be within that for sure. Good evening, you all. I would like to briefly talk about Charlie Kirk and connect that to some goings on. He was assassinated, as I hope you all are aware, by a deranged leftist who was radicalized specifically by gender ideology, especially trans. This is clearly evidenced by the fact that the assassin was living with his boyfriend, who was quote, in transition to female at the time. And the assassin himself stated that he was tired of the hate. Hate in that case being Charlie Kirk's belief and simple statement of reality that men cannot become women and vice versa. Charlie was a married 31-year-old father of two, extremely similar to myself. You just passed a policy at the SU level calling it an act of hate to agree with Charlie Kirk's opinion, which the majority of the country does, that men and women cannot be interchanged or transitioned between, and that they should under no circumstances be competing against each other in competitive sports. I am willing to bet not a single person on this entire SU board will be willing to make that statement, even though that's the belief of over half the country. Emails that were released following Tiffany Riley's lawsuit showed the personal animus that was held by some still board members, at least 4 of whom are on this call, specifically to public members who were conservative just because of that. This is in writing, released. You all certainly have an overrepresentation of LGBTQ agenda support, both on your board level and in your personal lives in various ways. You've also all been very openly showing your politics through these meetings since Trump was reelected, describing all of these insane imagined threats and anxieties, these existential threats to your government schools. And it's very obvious anyway where everybody on the board uniformly stands. All the while, you still haven't reconciled with everybody who was on Tiffany Riley's side of 2020's favorite race hoax. But boy, you certainly have struggle sessioned yourselves since then, and you still do today on those topics. So on that note, for consistency purposes, I certainly expect that you'll be bringing in different consultants, starting committees and community discussions on how you might de-radicalize those who think it's justifiable to kill a conservative because they disagree with the insane gender ideology that you uniformly push at the school and in your personal lives. Maybe the next drag show Davis helps organize will provide a good opportunity. Who knows? There's lots of opportunities around. Maybe Chris Lord's social studies classroom can be an opportunity where maybe he'll put on a lesson and just play Charlie Kirk's argument as to why it is disgusting for Chris Lord, for example, to have the Pride Progress flag in his 8th grade classroom. I'm sure you'll be taking all of this
Bill,
very seriously.
I don't think we're
right?
supposed to be calling out
Yes.
specific people in community comments. Thank you.
In the social
Yes.
studies teacher's classroom, of which photos have been posted on the SU level newsletter showing the flag. This is not secret information. That's all I had to say. I hope this is not the only thing that the board has to say about Charlie Kirk in the aftermath. And I hope you look yourselves in the mirror at some point, because the same sort of radicalizing forces that led to that assassin fester from the beliefs you spread. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else with public comments? Announcements? I'd like to point out that there was I believe, a productive meeting between Hartford and Mountain View and Windsor Southeast Supervisory Union regarding the idea of working together in the recent merger planning by the state. It was enlightening to see just people open to moving forward in a productive way. Yeah. Sherry.
Hi, I'm not sure. I just joined. The agenda online said the meeting started at 6:30, so I don't know if I've missed public participation.
We are right in it. So Carrie, go ahead.
I just wanted to come on and ask sort of state how I was feeling. I'm the athletic director for Weathersfield, and we had a situation come up last week about the eligibility policy, and I just want to find out, I guess, where the responsibility lies to enforce that eligibility policy. And it's about having a minimum grade of a 2.0 in order to remain eligible for athletics. And the policy is for grades 7 through 12. And it sounds like that was confused or waived or something last week. And I just want to express some frustration over being an athletic director and being asked to enforce policies that the administration isn't going to back us up on. And so I wanted to put this out there because it is a school board policy, I believe, or at least it's in our parent handbook that the students and parents have to sign off on. But with pushback, it got overturned last week. And that's tough. That's a tough position to have the athletic directors be in. So I just want to say that situation occurred last week. It sounds like it's not being enforced across the SU. Maybe one school is and two are not. But we have athletes that play for Windsor on the football team. And should one of them not be eligible if our school's not following it? I don't know what that translates to for Windsor. It feels like they should be able to be waived as well. But I did want to bring it up.
So Carrie, do you know the policy number? Could you forward that to me, the actual policy? I don't
know policy. It's in the student and caregiver handbook that the students and caregivers have to sign off on. It's in that.
That doesn't make policy though, if it's in the handbook.
Either way, it's still a position that that I was put in last week. That
no, I understand that, but I'm not aware of a policy.
So maybe policy is not the right word. It's in the handbook. Okay. And I just am hoping to get clarification if that is being waived across the SU or if it's being enforced or how it's being handled.
Okay. It'd be something for us to find out and discuss. One, why is it in the handbook, and under what policy you may be referring to.
Thank you.
Yep.
You can speak now if you want. Or
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to speak to it.
Sure.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
So the it is in the handbook, and it's in the athletic handbook. There are some eligibility rules, and to my knowledge, it's not being waived across the SU. I know there were some concerns at the middle school level, especially where the September 19th date of running the eligibility report seemed quite early in the year for grades to be put into Power School consistently across schools and classrooms. So there was a discussion about with the Heartland principal, the Weathersfield principal, and Colleen around eligibility at the middle level this first fall round. And the sentiment was that it would get run if there were particular individual incidents, and they would look at each case specifically. The principals were going to check in on how many grades were put in by the teachers. If it didn't seem like a reasonable, amount of information was collected, there may be some plan created for that student. So we talked about it at length. We determined September 19th is too early to run the first report. That will likely change for next fall, but it was not waived across the SU to my knowledge.
I mean, my question would be, middle school students don't have a GPA.
They have to be earning a 2 in each of their 4 classes to be eligible. There's some behavior requirements, some attendance requirements, I believe. I don't think it was being consistently implemented in all the middle schools last year. I don't think Heartland had eligibility rules. So this year, the principals worked together to come up with something consistent across the SU. They are implementing it. It's not perfect by any means, but and certainly want our athletic directors to feel supported in the work that they're doing to help enforce those. So the way I understand it, the principals run the reports, or their assistants or somebody in their office run the reports. They give the information to the athletic directors, who then give the information to the coaches. I think that's how the process works. But the principals, I think, being the administrator in the building, knowing the students, and we want to follow the policy consistently with all students.
But it's not a policy.
I mean, not a policy, protocol. Thank you, Will. And I think this first round, there have been some bumps, and we're trying to smooth them over.
Yeah, it's gotta be difficult, September 19th, to
It's
have
early.
enough data to say. Also, I'm not, my assumption would be, and I could be wrong, that it would be the responsibility of the principals to enforce that.
I think they look at the data. I
Right.
mean, the way, when I was a principal, it was up to the principal to look at those students. If there were any extenuating circumstances, make that decision and pass that information along to the athletic director.
I guess my question is that are athletic directors and more importantly, coaches expected to enforce that? Or would that be up to the principal to inform the students of the parents?
Oh, yeah, the principal informs the parents and the students, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Christine, I'm not sure I would want to reread it, but I do think that it says the athletic directors notify the coaches, and I think the coaches notify the students. I think that's the way it's written. At least
Okay,
that.
I'll check on that, Carrie. Notify. I know the athletic directors notify the coaches.
Mhm.
I would hope that it wouldn't fall on the coaches to notify the students. I would think that the administration would do that, but that could be, I'll look into it.
I will
So-
too. I just,
Okay.
yeah.
It kind of sounds as if might be something we want to explore in policy.
What,
Yeah.
the part I'm struggling with is just that there's a directive given to the athletic director, but we're not part of the conversation. And so when I went and communicated an advance notice to families that we were going to be pulling grades, a pretty heavy battle ensued, and I took a pretty good beating all last week from people over it. And so it just feels like either it should be followed or not. I agree that this date was early, but it is in the handbook, the specific dates that are going to be pulled. So I just am looking for there to be clear and concise protocol, and I am a proponent of not looking at this much case by case, because then you get into where do we hold the water to enforce it for one student and not another. So I just hope there's some attention paid to that detail. It makes it hard to stand behind a protocol if it's not.
So Carrie,
For sure.
I just want to kind of point out that when you have a complaint, I like this, or a concern, let's say more of a concern, it probably should be, to first of all, talk to the principal, and then to talk to the superintendent. And then if it's not resolved on those levels, then feel free to come to the board.
Well, I respectfully disagree with that, because I'm coming to it as I want it to be public, that
Right.
that there's
Yes,
a situation
but
that
Carrie, you
needs,
can disagree with that, but that's policy. That's actually the policy.
right. So I'll can leave it here. I took my 3
Okay.
minutes or whatever. I'm good. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, any other announcements? Public participation?
I think the only other announcement that I would have, and I sent this out to folks as part of the Mountain School District stuff, but we do have a homecoming weekend coming up in what weekend after next? First weekend in October?
Yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna have, I think there's a flyer that the school sent out that you can look for, but it's also in the Town of Windsor newsletter, and it's been sent to the West Windsor Select Board as well. So there's going to be all sorts of sports events, student events, on a Moonfest Friday night. So really great opportunity for the local and school communities to get together and visit and have a good time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
6, policy discussion followed by motion if needed, and there won't be any motions today. We are all on the first read. F5, behavioral threat assessment teams. I guess I read through this. It's a rather in-depth policy. The question I have from administration is, what would be the purpose of this policy?
It's required.
Okay, but right, but what do they want to accomplish with this, I guess? And
I think that it's part of,
Response.
yeah, a response when there is a threat. I mean, we're already doing this, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. We've had behavior threat training. We have to annually, our behavior threat assessment teams have to have training now.
Yeah.
And we're following it, so I think they just wanted to train into
Codify
a
it.
policy.
Is there a team in each school?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is. And we have, risk assessments that we use to determine if the threat is a major, minor, or, low, medium, high. I think that's how we categorize it. If a threat is in the medium to high range, then we engage the behavior threat assessment team. It's really about, I guess it's like centralized information, so that if you have a student who's really struggling, and students that make threats are typically struggling, it's about wrapping around and making sure that student gets the support they need prior to an incident, a major incident happening. So that's the purpose of it, and I think it's important. So.
the only suggestion I have is the usual OCD thing is to make sure that the header is on the same page as what comes after.
Okay.
That's all. Any other comments? Concerns?
Seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. D8, selection of library materials. Quite a few changes in this. It kind of, it clarifies legally responsibility, and also removes technology integration out of the policy, which doesn't really belong there anyway, because it's about, selecting library materials. Any other comments? Yes.
I did share it with the librarians.
Yep.
And the procedures as well, because they had worked on procedures for us for the last policy, and they were in support.
It looks well done. Yeah. And the stuff that's being removed is kind of pedantic. Any other comments, concerns? C8, pupil privacy policies and procedures. The only addition to this, the only change is the right of parent to inspect upon request any instructional materials used as part of the education curriculum for the parent's child, and any application procedures for granting access to such material within a reasonable time after the request is received. And there's a header, and there's a law. I guess this is probably a change in federal law that requires this.
I believe so.
References.
Let's see.
7,
Yeah.
USC.
Would we just need to change parent to guardian?
Yeah, legal guardian always be.
Probably, yeah.
All the way through.
Oh, yeah. Good catch.
Put the word legal in front.
We do slash,
Mhm. Mhm.
legal guardian slash parent.
Yep, I'll do it.
Okay.
So is there a standard that not all guardians are legal?
Not all, potentially not all parents
Sorry.
are, they could be some
Legal
parents. are
guardians,
legal.
yeah.
In some cases, yes, in some, no.
I'm a guardian, but I'm not a legal.
Right.
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 It's very difficult to remove educational rights from a parent, but occasionally it does happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of important sort of to know that if a parent loses their guardianship, oftentimes their educational rights remain intact. All right. Okay, any discussion, concerns? That was a great catch, Beth.
It's in the procedures, that
Yeah.
parent slash guardians. I don't have legal guardian. But it should be, I believe, legal guardian. You want both?
No, I'm not, I'm just processing it. And at what point does a parent lose the right to inspect curriculum? Is that they've lost their educational rights, or they lose their guardianship rights?
Oh,
Would it make sense? Would it make sense to just have, yeah, I mean, we could ask our lawyer, but also if we just put legal guardian in there, because a parent is a legal guardian.
Yeah.
If we just replace that term, then I think that kind of gets rid of that.
Right.
debate.
So don't move the parent in
Question.
there, the right of legal guardian,
Yeah.
because they're one and the same, yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Got it.
Thank you. F42, Windsor Southeast Supervised Union, acceptable use of information and communication technology. Yeah, I didn't see any changes. It's just this up for a reading.
There will be some changes to the second.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Any sort of idea about what type of changes you hope to make?
Updating to the modern, I mean, this is written with, you see a lot of references to Web 2.0.
Yes.
So the original version of this is,
Yeah.
you're going way back 2012, 2013.
Okay.
I don't think there's a lot of references to social media in there.
Yeah.
And cyber attacks,
Yeah.
are different back then than what they are here. So I'm gonna be updating some of those things.
Okay. Yeah, I did notice some dated.
Data language.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions as well? Anyone?
Just within the,
Draft health and safety policy, first read.
Stuff like that.
This is a policy that we agreed to work on when negotiating with the professional staff. And this is the first attempt. I've read through it. From what I've read, I think Christine and whoever else has worked on it has done a great job.
It's gone through, Phaedra.
Yeah.
So, has had a legal
Yes.
look over.
And it does require a close look on our part because if this policy is enacted, it will nullify aspects within the teacher's contract, which they understand that that's what we were planning to do. We put some language into the contract that did some of this, with the understanding that if we created a policy, as the contract says, it would supersede what would be at the time.
you have
questions.
for instance?
For instance, the health and safety section of the teacher contract specifically.
Which covers some of this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, which covers, most of it. While negotiating, it was clear how important these sections were for, actually for both, the professional and the, support staff. And so, both negotiations, it was clearly community had understood that a policy would be put in place or at least looked at to supersede what went into the contract. They were very emotionally invested, and rightfully so, in moving forward at least with something within the contract. So that's what we did. Questions? Okay. Adoption of update transgender and gender non-conforming students C28 policy update by VSBA on July 15th, 2025. Elizabeth, would you like to talk to this? We're not really reading this now, but there was a concern that you had that when the political uproar that this created in other SUs when it was discussed and adopted. Am I speaking correctly?
Well, it really, I asked to have the policy be combined with what we already have, the update be combined with what we already have visually, so that it's clear that we are not relitigating whether we have a transgender policy, but just that we are voting on an update.
Okay.
We're not voting on an update, examining and then discussing and then voting on an update.
At some point, are we going to give access to that?
Oh, yeah.
You don't have access to it?
No.
The link on the URL.
No, it's not working?
It said to
It wasn't,
request.
it wasn't on the material, was it?
It wasn't.
It was on the,
It wasn't on the meeting docs.
yes, it was here on the.
She linked it. She linked it.
Christine, we just don't have access.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll see, I'll have her give you access.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you, Elizabeth. For the clarification. You're always good at that. Any questions, concern about
Well, I can't see it.
what we can't see and what we'll talk about more next meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
still can't.
Then, okay. Moving right along, administrative report.
Okay. Myself a note. We go. All right. It's been a while since I've given a SU report, so got a little summer stuff in here and the beginning of the year updates as well. So I wanted to just start with Summer Academy, which went off without a hitch again this year, even though Katie was not here to be the administrator on duty. Alyssa McDermott, who's in the photo with the kids, kind of took on the role as being the person there every day, and we had principals take turns, being a week on duty at Summer Academy, and it worked really well. There's our attendance. We had, I think, 88 students enrolled, but it was summertime, so on average, we had about 79% of our population there. We're certainly starting the conversation about what it will look like next year.
So 79 to 76% of those enrolled in the program.
Yes, of those enrolled were there, yeah. This year, as you know, we used Medicaid funds to fund Summer Academy. because ESSER funds had run out. And in speaking with Jen, we think that if Medicaid stays intact, we'll be able to do that again. If it doesn't, we won't. We'll have to either add some money to the local budgets to help fund it, or the special ed budget. But at this point, we're thinking Medicaid should be around again next year. We're also talking about ways to ensure that the instruction that we're providing and the experiences also, because it is summer and we do some experiences for the students, it's really having the impact that we want. So talking about data collection and making sure that that is happening. So I'll keep you updated, but wanted to let you know it went quite well this year. This is just a shout out to Mr. Dower, who brought us the budget book last year, which is part of ClearGov. And ClearGov really noticed that Larry did a phenomenal job making the budget and the budget process transparent to our stakeholders. And so it's just a shout out to him. He's also done a webinar for them.
Case study.
A case study. So
It's particularly complicated because
Yeah.
we have 4 entities.
Yeah.
So they don't usually see that.
Yeah. So we are really, really thrilled to have it in place, and we'll be using it again this year. So.
Amy, you had a quick comment?
No, she's laughing. Yes, it is pretty awesome. Larry's pretty amazing.
I just want to throw out having attended, and I think it was the case study was what I.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was really insightful just to see kind of in dialogue with ClearGov, the steps that you took to put that together. So I appreciated that you took the extra step to do that and kind of add some more detail and context for anybody who wanted to seek it out. So I don't know if there's a recording of that somewhere, but that'd be.
Yeah, I think it was recorded.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, it's fine. It's enlightening. So thanks, Larry.
I'm gonna be calling you Dr. Dower, say
Yeah, we
something.
are, right? Rolls off the tongue. Dr. Dower.
It does.
All right, couldn't go without shouting out Larry. So I wanted to share, I try to connect what we do to our strategic plan goals. One of our goals is student success and engagement. And that's a shout out to Mr. Henry Yates. He's there on the left-hand side. He competed in the International History Olympiad in Paris, France this summer. It was quite impressive. He was the only representative from Vermont, and he scored 55 out of 74 on the 5 parts of the all-encompassing battery exam, 62 out of 76 on the International History B World Championship. So we're super proud of him. And if you see Mr. Yates about, just congratulate him. That was a huge thing that he did. So he's very engaged in history, and it shows. Some other pictures of just the start of the year, kids engaged in learning in a music class. And these on the right hand are some of our high schoolers who got together this summer. There's been an effort with Kate to bring the groups together, all the leadership groups together under one umbrella, so that, the left hand knows what the right hand is doing and they're not duplicating efforts. And those students planned a really robust first couple days of school for their peers, doing a lot of team building and getting together and getting to know each other. So the kids are engaged, which is excellent. Wanted to share, I think Bridget probably shared these with you in the last data report, but these are our student success and engagement wildly important goals for the year. They are based on our DIBELS scores for K-3 students and our STAR assessments for 3rd through 8th students. There's some overlap in 3rd grade. It's also our math goals, which are 1st through 8th grade for STAR assessments. And then in the high school, it looks a little bit different. We are going back to STAR.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, because the data that they took, the PSATs, I think it was, just isn't giving us what we need. So
PSAT 10s, but they were taking a sub-test.
yeah, sub-test. So we're going to measure.
Those are also in your continuous improvement plan, very similar.
Are
for
you
each
going
school.
to use the STAR algebra assessment?
No, we're just using STAR because it goes all the way up through 12th grade. And the algebra assessment wasn't giving the kind of rich data that the
In
STAR math does.
STAR?
Yeah.
I wanted to understand that, in STAR, enterprise assessment, it only measures, grade 3 to 8 skills.
Not the one we're using, goes up through algebra 2 and even beyond sometimes.
Well,
So, yeah,
but that's the enterprise.
whatever we're using is.
Yeah.
They changed the name, Bill, last year.
Yeah.
I think it's. something to start with.
They do go up to, they assess any grade, but it's more after 8th grade, they're measuring proficiency for that grade. So,
Okay.
any new skill.
Okay. I will say that around this goal, the administrative team worked hard to refine our learning walk form, which is the form we use when we go into classrooms and look for, those high impact instructional strategies. And Bridget's helped with that. We are about to start those in October. We'll give the staff a good month to get rolling, and then we'll go in. But Bridget and I go. We meet with principal. I meet with principals weekly, but Bridget comes every other week, and we do our learning walks together, and we then can sit down and talk about what we're seeing. The forms have a place for immediate feedback for the teachers, and then we look at the data holistically every 3 months or so to see what professional learning that we should be providing teachers at a general level. So it's a system that works pretty well.
We're kind of focusing this year on what discourse is a continuation.
Yep.
And on inquiry, is there kind of a problem-based sort of feel to what's going on in the class? And then just the understanding of learning goals. Is it evident what the learning goals are? And more importantly, do students understand
What they are.
what they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are our 3 area focus.
Yeah. So we'll keep you posted on that. The other big goal that we work on is culture and student and staff wellness. You can see on the left-hand side this summer, we used some title funds to bring responsive classroom to our supervisory union. We had 30 teachers and interventionists participate, which was the most we could add to a session. And
Is that a week long?
it was a 4-day training. Yeah, it's an incredible one. It was the best training I took when I was a teacher. So, and we had a lot of new staff that hadn't had it. So it helps with lots of things, but really helps a teacher hone classroom management skills, which is key to learning. So that was a great professional development opportunity. And then you can see on the right, there are some freshmen participating in those team building activities that the student leaders planned for the beginning of the year, which was pretty awesome. Our SU-wide culture and wellness goal is really around chronic absenteeism. We've noticed that chronic absenteeism has continued to grow since the pandemic. And this is what our whole school, whole child, whole community team had been working on last year. They actually requested that we focus on this year, and they have tweaked some interventions. We have created, well, they have actually 3 school engagement coach stipend positions using EPSDT monies, and those staff members are tasked with early intervention with students who are showing signs of some real absenteeism. We've also committed to a new Power School plugin, which is MBA attendance monitoring, which you'll hear about soon. We have to train our admin assistants and our parents. We're hoping by the end of the first trimester, we'll have that, all those trainings completed. And it's a system where a parent can go in and log whether their child is out without having to call the school. They can give the reason. Parents can opt in for alerts when their children don't show up to class, especially in the high school, middle school. That'll be very useful. And it's interactive, and it'll give us the data that we're looking for to help us track absenteeism. So,
Elizabeth?
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Bill. Christine, I don't understand what you're talking about. When I read this sentence to myself, I don't understand it. Can you
Sure.
restate
Well,
it?
when I read it, sounds as if you're trying to increase chronic absenteeism.
Yeah,
I'm assuming, yes.
Well,
Attendance.
we were trying to frame it in a positive way, but
Yeah.
maybe we mixed it up. We're trying to reduce chronic absenteeism.
Yeah.
Ultimately, so we can rewrite this so it makes more sense. But
Right.
right now, we have a chronic absenteeism rate of 15.
So
Yeah,
chronic absenteeism is defined as 10% or greater. So,
if a student
the kid.
misses 10%.
Correct.
Yeah.
correct.
As close as the AOE can calculate it.
Yeah,
It's not
correct,
even
yeah.
close to that.
So we're trying to, we'll rework this, Elizabeth. What we're trying to do is reduce chronic absenteeism.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
But you were trying to do a
yeah,
positive.
we were trying to
spin,
do it in a positive, frame it in a positive way.
So
But-
to increase non-chronic
Yes.
absenteeism
Yeah.
rate
Yeah.
from 84.74 to 90%.
Yes.
Does that make more sense, Elizabeth?
yes. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
Davis?
for pointing that
Yeah,
out.
I know, that was the same question because so those numbers represent the percentage of students SU-wide who are not
Yes.
exhibiting chronic absenteeism.
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct. That
Perfect.
is correct, but it is a little awkward, so I get it.
Yeah.
Totally.
John?
Yeah, I think that my question was just answered. So the use of the word chronic in this presentation, explain it a little further, please.
So if a student is absent 10% of their school days up to any point to the school years, 10% and more absenteeism, whether it's excused or not, those students are classified as chronically absent.
And we have.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah, we have a bunch, so.
It is a statewide, nationwide epidemic
Yeah.
right now.
So we're trying to.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that is a federal term, chronic absenteeism. So
Yeah.
some federal civil rights employment reporting, I have to report chronic absenteeism.
We all do, so. The last thing we're working on, as you've heard, most of you have heard, is improving behaviors across the SU. And the administrative team has committed to working together on this, this goal. Really, we've revised and updated our behavior handbook, we've linked it, it's public now, which it hasn't been in the past. We've provided training to staff and students on what the expectations are. We've had trainings on hazing, harassment, and bullying. There were some parent meetings at Windsor. There'll be one at Albert Bridge later in the month during their open house. And we've committed to looking at behavior data, not every month, it's about every 6 weeks with our staff. So we've done some trainings in Power School. We know how to run the reports, and we'll be getting those in the hands of our teachers who will examine things like what are the most frequent behaviors, how many students are actually engaging in those behaviors. Oftentimes you'll have a large number of log entries, but oftentimes it's a few students creating those logs, and that helps us to determine what supports those students need. So we'll be looking at that regularly this year. So that was a lot of work we did this summer. Jen Hulse is here. She's not feeling well, so she's home, but she's on the line. I just wanted to share with you that she is coming to us with a wealth of experience and knowledge in special education. At our welcome back, she took our support staff and went over some onboarding protocols, which they've been asking for. When you hire staff and you kind of just put them in the classroom without a lot of training, it's frustrating for them. And so we've worked on that, and Jen helped with that. She put in some protocols for determining one-on-one support. Yes, it is big clap, Elizabeth, which includes a fade plan. So when you have a student that needs a one-on-one, you don't want that to be forever. You want that support to fade and that student to become independent. So she's helped us put that in place. She's revisiting how to determine SDL with a specific learning disability. And she's working on the service plan, which is a big project and Larry will speak to that a little bit when we get to the budget. Other updates, I wanted to just let you know, I have met with the math teachers actually this afternoon regarding algebra, which you all tasked me with. We are meeting again because we did not come to a conclusion today. So we're meeting again in October. Said by January, we need to have an answer. And we are meeting, Larry and I are going to meet with some representatives from the maintenance custodial staff to talk about consolidation. And that's later on in this month.
Hartford Middle School is no longer offering a standalone algebra class.
They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went back and forth, and it's, you know, it's meeting the needs of the kids in a way that we can do it with staffing. And, you know, some people think online is not the best way to teach math, and some people think it's okay. And so we just need some more time to digest it. But yeah. Okay, just want to keep you up. You're probably paying somewhat attention to federal funding, probably not as much as I am, but this is just a graph. The red is the proposed budget by President Trump. The dark blue is the Senate budget, and this is all titled, and then the House is the lighter blue. And as you can see, that there's a lot of consensus on Title I and Idea B, special education funding. Where things start to go in opposite directions is when we get to Title II, Title III, and Title IV. So we're not real certain that those are going to stay in place. Some groups are in support and some groups are not. So that will impact us in our budget, which we're planning for. And the AOE assures us, so they're supposed to pass by October 1st, right? This budget. If they don't, we have been assured that the AOE already understands what to do. And they've given us reminders that education programs are forward funding, meaning that the agency and LEAs already have access to federal 25 funds, which are used for the 25-26 school year. So if there is a shutdown, which there may be, they have, I think we'll be okay funding wise. Their concerns are that there will be no one at the U.S. Department of Ed to answer questions or process grants or applications, amendments, waivers, that kind of thing. But I'll keep you posted. Quick redistricting task force update. I have not been able to watch the meetings. I know Elizabeth has committed to doing that. So I just read the minutes from the September 10th meeting. The big takeaways that I noticed were there's a strong recognition of the need for robust public engagement. I think that's really important as well. So I think that's great to read. The members highlighted the importance of solid data to help them make their decisions. And they also talked about a rubric before the map drawing. They need a rubric before that happens. So their next meeting is the 29th, if anyone is interested in watching. Two more quick things. There is a VSBA VSA annual conference. It's the board officer superintendent training. So if anyone is interested, let Lori know and she can help get you registered. It is in Burlington, I think, this year. So Davis, I know you're going.
Yep.
I think Anne Marie is going. I think Elizabeth said she might go. So all are welcome. And then lastly, Larry and I will be attending tomorrow and Wednesday, the VSA VASBO, which is business officers 2-day training, which this group was there last year. And we're going to be working with their presentation from last year to continue. The talk of budgeting, the theme this year is budgeting for now, finance of the future. And it's suggested that the sessions are going to be around practical information and tools to support our current budgeting efforts, which Larry has already started. And then we're going to talk about exploring the finance reforms of Act 73, which I'm sure is actually going to be most of what we talked about for 2 days. But we'll be there for the next 2 days and we'll share what we learned. I will stop sharing and Larry is going to.
Well, it's on here.
Oh, is it linked to one?
Yeah, it's on the next slide, I think.
That's the human resource update. You're
Yeah,
in the budget
wanna do
next?
budget now?
Well,
Do I need
HR
more?
takes a motion for discussion.
Okay, so you want to go to the budget? All right, so I shared with everybody the budget over email last week before it was shared out to the SU budget committee. So Sarah, Elizabeth, and Ryan from Heartland has been working with us, and Jen Hulse, special ed director, was at the last meeting. So I'm going over the budget book. I don't want to go line by line. I just want to go over an overview of the budget book. I think it would be beneficial if you have any questions about the actual budget, to email them to your budget committee rep or myself, no big deal, and we'll answer them. The evolution of Vermont education law, this page, I added what I could about Act 73, knowing that we're early in on that. As you know, a lot of the budget book preamble is sort of organizational, executive summary, the budget process timeline, which is where you can see right here, September 22nd, that's today. We have moved up the budget timeline as we talked about, because we would hope that we could get an approved SU budget in October meeting so that I can do the locals, because Weathersfield has asked for us to present their first draft in November Weathersfield meeting, and they meet earlier in the month than the SU. Enrollment trends based on last year, not much different. You know, Heartland and Weathersfield are starting to separate a little bit as they were converging for many years. They're starting to separate a little bit. And overall as an SU, we're kind of bucking the state trend from the last 10 years, which was about down 2% for the state. We're kind of holding steady as an SU, even though there's some minor variations in each school. What that means for Weathersfield is, as they've been converging with Heartland, as Heartland been going down and Weathersfield's been going up, since most of our assessment is based off LTW ADM, and then food service is based off actual student count, Weathersfield is going to be paying a little less this year, about 1% less of the SU assessment, because they are now have fewer students relative to the increase. Personnel changes. There's a slight change at administration operations, and that's more or less around needs. Christine mentioned earlier about Title II and the possibility of that going away. We fund some of the curriculum director salary out of Title II. We have put the other extra 40% of that salary into the general fund, preparing for Title II possibly going away. And but we made up for that based on student needs around ELL. We have a 1.0 ELL teacher, which we do not need a 1.0, and we are lowering that amount to 0.3. So that is the administration operating changes. And special education changes. Right now, we view no changes. As Christine mentioned, this is really early on in the process, and the service plan is usually done around October, and Jen's going to be working on that. There may be some staffing changes later, but for right now, we're not anticipating any staffing changes year over year.
Just the one administrator for special ed.
Yes, but I'm talking about the overall number. There is one less administrator in special education from the budget year over year, and you'll see that under administration salaries. This again is more of our strategic priorities, which many of you know about, some information on budgeting, and now we're getting to the meat of it. Currently in the budget book, and one of the great things about the budget book is as department heads and we meet, so for example, you have early childhood program is in here and the general fund as it stands today, but food services will be added later. Ian's working on his budget right now, and I don't want to, put too much pressure on Ian, but he's done a great job with his budgeting. And for the first time, I'm pretty confident that when we present a budget, we'll finally have a food services budget that will not be a money loser in operating deficits. We've had operating deficits in the food service budget since we went in-house from contract services, and Ian's done a great job of food sourcing, local grants, fresh fruits and vegetable grants, and bringing in some more revenue to hopefully be a break-even enterprise fund, which is what it should be. The main headline, as I go down, Beth.
Just a quick note around food service is that it doesn't necessarily need to be, it's to say that it needs to be break even is a little hard, because I mean, what is a per cost meal that Ian's trying to do right now? Like it's really low. It's like
Yes.
it's like less than $2 usually. Like it's significantly lower than what we could ever buy ourselves, or even sometimes prepare for our own families. So just realize when you're saying that it's an even budget, that's really hard. And so in saying that, you know, it's in the red, a better way to put it is that we're investing in the school meal program, that we're not just relying on the funds from the state and the feds. So it's just, if there's a lot of pushback or quality issues or anything like that that do come up, I don't think it's ever a bad thing to invest necessarily in the meal program overall. So just a little clarification on my end.
Thanks, Beth. I was referring more to the fact that it's a separate fund from the general fund. So
Yes.
under the Vermont Uniform Chart of Accounts, which we have to use, they transferred us to 2370, which is, it's supposed to be nonprofit, right? It's going to be nonprofit, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean in the red. Just like the general fund is nonprofit, but not in the red. So yes, thank you. So the headline number you're going to see, I think, is around special education, to give some context of why that looks so drastic. Does everybody in the board, you'll remember back in January. So last January was fiscal year 25. This is the fiscal year that just ended, last fiscal year. I was worried about a $1.2 million deficit. As we increased revenue on the revenue side from special education spending, first of all, why do we have that deficit? Because some students moved in that required extraordinary placement services, and we took care of those students as we're required to. There was a revenue comeback for that. But however, during the fiscal year, we weren't sure. The waters were muddy in January, February. As we went through the fiscal year, and the auditors are here next week in this room, we hope to have better news for fiscal year 25 closing out. I'm pretty confident we will, that we will not have ended up with a deficit. By using some of our fund balance, we are going to be 200,000 or so to the better. So all that worry from January, February, it turned out okay. However, those students are still here, right? They didn't go anywhere. It was an unbudgeted for cost. Now for FY26, because we built the budget for FY26 in the fall of 24, those costs still weren't there, right? Because it was the fall of 24. We're going to be in a similar boat this year. Hopefully the revenue will pick up. That's the reason why you're seeing such a drastic increase in special education spending for next year. You're already spending it. So the revenue, the budget is revenue and expenses. So special education is up, the total budget is up 16.4% currently. Special education accounting for 15.3 of that. Admin and operations is 1.3 currently of that, 1.2% currently. It might go down after a motion tonight. I have a motion on the table with the SU funds. Unlike the local funds, at the SU, the CFO has a fair amount of latitude for fund transfers, but there is one fund transfer I can't make without a board vote that I would like a board vote tonight, which will lower even more that administration and operations at no extra cost or no cutting of quality. It's just literally a money transfer. So that's where we are. There's a lot more detail in the budget book. If anybody has any questions, I think what's usually surprising to people is when you go to expenditures by function, right here, this table, you can see that almost 60% of the SU budget in the general fund is special education, where about 10% is our transportation. We have a new transportation contract that many of you remember we went out to RFP for. Psych services, which is in the student support services budget, is another 7%. And so the first non-special ed item is technology, which is about 5.5% of your total dollar. Fiscal services, which is my office, is 3.5%. Instruction and curriculum, which is Bridget's office, is 3%, and so on and so forth. So just that's the headline number. It's a big increase, but I think it's really important that everybody understands this was the context from the FY25. We are now actually budgeting for those students. And you'll see under revenues up top, right here, revenues by account, if you expand that table on the revenues by account, on the far right side, you'll notice that we're getting 484,000 more dollars in revenue. That is specifically because of that. So the increase of revenue from the state, any student over $67,000 to $69,000 per student, we get 90% back from the state.
And the big drivers, Larry, besides those out of district placements, be healthcare.
Yes.
Negotiated wage.
Teacher negotiated wages. We are in the final, we're budgeting FY27, which is the final year of our teacher wages, some current master agreement, and the support staff, we have an agreement, so which makes my budgeting a little easier. And then for health insurance, I went with my BASBO partners, and we're averaging, if you do a 3-year running average, and I know that there's some talk around the state that the number might come in a little lower for health insurance. We are estimating 11.9. The 3-year running average would have been 12 point something. I cut it to 11.9, which is the same number we budgeted for last year. If we get an October letter from BHI that says it's 6%, great. I will make those adjustments. And again, that's the benefit of having a live, transparent budget book that is out to the public on the website, is that I can make those changes and they will update for everybody rather than sending, spreadsheets back and forth and not knowing what version we're on.
Yes.
Oh, another last thing. This FY27 draft budget preliminary does not include the maintenance consolidation we discussed at August retreat. It's important to note that if that decision is made, it'll be expenses and revenue neutral because it'll be zeroed out of your local budget. It will greatly increase the SU budget. It will greatly increase the SU assessments. However, it'll all be tracked because you can look back at the local budget and they'll be zeroed out. But right now, this current budget does not include that.
Right back to you, Bill.
Okay. Motion for discussion. HR, do you want to do the BOCES first?
Sure.
Let's throw that in there.
So here is the language for you.
Okay.
Very specific, and that's the signature if you vote yes.
I just have
Motion language.
quick question just around the BOCES. So is that because we'll need to budget for that membership for next year?
That we are paying out of Medicaid reimbursement.
It's not the general fund.
It's not the
The
general.
next
Yeah.
year one?
Yeah.
Okay, I move that Windsor Southeast Supervisory Union Board vote to 1, approve participation as a founding member supervisory union in the proposed Southeast Vermont Regional Board of Cooperative Education Services, BOCES, under 16 VSA Chapter 10. And do I have to, we don't have to vote on these separately, do we?
No.
This is just one motion. Okay.
Yeah.
Subsection 2, approve and adopt the articles of agreement for the BOCES as presented. 3, authorize the board chair to sign the articles of agreement and submit them to the Vermont Secretary of Education as required by 16 VSA 603. And 4, authorize a supervisory union or school district representative to participate in organizational meetings and take all necessary steps to implement the BOCES in accordance with Vermont law. I will take a motion to approve that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, you guys are really pulling it through today.
Move it along.
Discussion. I think it's, I think it's a financially, and educationally, fortuitous, move. Elizabeth?
Thanks. Just to clarify or satisfy my own curiosity. So when we enter into a BOCES, if we expand, as far up the 91 corridor as Montpelier, say, we're already expanding all the way down to the border with Massachusetts. Does that mean we would be sharing services for that entire area? Not
Yeah, we could.
Oh, yeah, the new board would have to vote on it.
We could.
Okay, thank you.
But Montpelier isn't on the 91 corridor.
89.
89.
Hey, that. Yeah, okay, sorry.
But we know what you meant.
Okay.
Along the, you're gonna say early, Rivendell.
Yeah. Any other comments, concerns, questions? Okay. I will take a voice vote and make sure I go through. David?
Aye.
I don't think Nicole's here. Heather?
Aye.
Oh, thank you, Heather. Nancy?
Aye.
Beth?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Megan's not here. Sarah?
Aye.
Is Anne Marie here? I haven't seen her.
He was.
Okay, there you.
Aye.
Okay, and I am an I. So that's it.
That's it. Where you sign that, Bill.
Okay.
Thank you. I will text Jill right now.
HR discussion.
Okay.
Did you get John?
Yes.
Okay.
And he voted aye too. About a month ago, there was a change in the central office. Our HR coordinator left, and Larry decided. I'm reviewing this. We discussed this in the library. Larry decided to take a analytic view at that office, and we offered the intern, thank you, position. And I will hand it off to Larry to
Yeah.
where we're at.
So, opportunities come when they come, and our previous HR director left at a bad time for us, which is onboarding, offboarding, the fiscal year rollover. Not her fault. I'm having lunch with her next month, but that's what happens. So in that time period, I wanted to step back. I think it's always important when somebody leaves, and this was in the email to the board on July 1 from Christine, that we look at the whole thing. So I looked into a bunch of different processes. For example, outsourcing payroll. What would that look like? Could I make the numbers work to do that? Could we look at some of the things in the district quality standards as far as cross-training? If you guys remember the August retreat, there were some important things that account-wise, payroll is not in one person, purchasing is not in one person, AP, there's some cross-training and some controls. So looking at all those things, we had to make a decision about what would work best for the central office with our current staffing as much as we could. And when the decision was made to move payroll back under the business office, holdover from Christine's predecessor that put it under HR. And by putting payroll back to the business office to do other business functions, we can have some of those cross-training and financial controls. That obviously leaves the HR position. And we did a posting and we had interviews, and we had multiple interviews.
In-house posting?
In-house, internal
Yep.
posting, and our interim applied, and there was an interview with myself and Tracy Thompson, who's an administrator, Jesse Farnsworth, who's our Medicaid clerk, Gail McCoy, who works in the business office, and Aaron Day, a teacher in Windsor, and myself. We had a rubric with a cut score that if our current interim did not advance past the cut score, she would not advance to the next round, which included the superintendent and Tracy Price, Jen Hulse, Frank Romeo, and Christine, all administrators. And based on the feedback from both separate committees, we would like to offer the HR coordinator position to our interim, Jordan Sargent. She's been with us for 4 years now, 4 years and 2 months. She is finishing up her degree, which she'll have in 2 months, in human resources. She worked for many years prior to that at Aris, doing payroll and benefits specialist. I've worked with her, and she worked very closely alongside our outgoing HR director prior to this. And I've been supervising her since we made your interim and working with her and coaching her. And I think this is a excellent decision for the SU going forward. Then we will post the payroll position separately after this. And that's the update. And I really want to thank Tracy Thompson, Jesse Farnsworth, Gail, Aaron, Tracy, Jen, Frank, and especially Jordan for their patience during this process.
And for Jordan, doing both jobs.
Yes,
for the
Yes,
last
doing
3
both
months.
jobs.
I'd like to thank Larry and Christine and Tracy for doing a very thorough look at this. And I mean, Larry shared with me the advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing payroll. And the reality is there really wasn't any.
I couldn't make the numbers work.
Yeah.
I tried.
It's important to point out that this isn't really, it doesn't require the board's approval for this position. But because it is such an important position, I thought we'd do a quick vote just to kind of voice votes to show our support. So I will, because this is not a motion, we're not actually voting on it. Does someone want to make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the hire of
Jordan Sargent.
as the HR director. Do I have a first?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you for the timeliness and hard work of the SU office administration in such a critical time.
Open enrollment starts in a couple
Yep.
weeks.
Yeah.
She'll be
Yep.
busy. Thank you. She'll be
Thank you.
thrilled that the
Okay.
process is over.
SU board treasurer.
Yes, so at the Heartland board meeting, this month, Nikki Buck resigned from the Heartland board. So she was one of your board treasurers, yeah. So we'll need to sign another, Nancy, the other one, right? Do you have the board treasurer? That's your board? Yes. This means you'll have to go get your name on the.
Again.
No, not you, but
Oh,
whoever, I think.
yes.
Whoever's at the SU.
Okay,
That's it.
So we would have to have someone from another
District.
I think that'd be
District should
good,
someone
yeah.
From another district.
from another district?
It doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be,
It's
but
the SU.
Yeah.
we've shared it.
Yeah, someone on the SU board.
Who is the new Heartland board chair?
They are voting in October, Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you.
And just out of curiosity, what's their deadline to appoint a new member?
They are taking letters of interest
Okay.
currently. And they're actually having at their October meeting, they're a very condensed board meeting because they're doing a community engagement session on Act 73. So that'll be most of their meeting. But so they didn't really put a deadline on it. They're just taking letters of interest. And in October, they'll report any interest that they've heard
Yeah.
and go from there. Yeah.
I know it's a 30-day window the state gives, right? So there would be a deadline.
To appoint another member.
Yeah.
No, I'll get on that with them. Okay.
That's having been there.
Yeah.
Yes.
and there-
And it's an important thing to keep in mind.
I remember that clearly.
Do I have any, ideas, volunteers, nominations for the position?
Do you want to know what you do?
Yes, thank you.
You just go to the 802 bank, which is across from Cumbies, and to the M&T, and you sign. And usually that's about it, but every year you have to take care of there are checks that go out from the athletic association. And you have to make sure that those, usually I just go to the banks and pick it up and bring it to the SU. Except it was very difficult this year, but we took several months to solve a big problem, but that's done. So I think it should be very simple from now on.
Okay.
And everyone's very nice in the banks.
Is there anything stopping Nancy from doing the,
Doing it by herself, you mean?
right, so,
You had two.
yeah, you have two,
signers.
yeah, okay.
So
That would stop her from taking this position. Any volunteers? Do you need-
Actually, the thing with the checks, that's only for our SU because that's for Windsor Heights. So nobody else, if you were a signer, that's, you don't do very much at all.
That's quite the pep talk. Do we need to fill that position tonight?
I think we could, I don't know, Larry, you think we could wait a month? Or do you want it done?
The auditors are here.
The auditors are here. We probably want
Okay.
it done.
Elizabeth Burrow has raised her hand. Elizabeth,
Is she the backup treasurer for the SU?
Nikki.
I don't know, but
Nikki is the best.
you're the treasurer for Mount Scotty. Are you a backup treasurer for SU?
I'm the SU.
Yeah, she's the SU.
Yes.
The SU treasurer?
Yeah, I'm not for Scotty.
Okay, so you need
I
to.
nominate John Arison.
Okay.
Oh, very good.
Do I have a second?
False eye.
Second,
John, do you agree to the position?
As the wearer of coal in the great town of Weathersfield, I would be honored.
Nice.
Okay. All in favor? Please say aye.
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 Thank you, John.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Before we move on to board self-assessment, we have, let's do the, addition.
I can speak to that a little bit before the motion. So this is, I mentioned this during the budget, presentation, and, this would lower the FY 27 general fund. There is a fund balance in, Fund 2025, which is early childhood. We want to move that over to E-rate, which is 2610, for a one-time purchase of implementation costs and other trainings. And because it's one time, I feel it would be financially responsible to pay it out of a non-general fund operating fund. This motion would allow us to do that, which will lower the FY 27 general fund. But because, like I said, I have a lot of latitude as a CFO for SU funds, but not for transferring restricted funds. So that's what this motion is for. And so it can be in the minutes so the auditors know that it was done. And like I said, this will lower the FY 27 general fund. This is for replacing Frontline, which is what we currently use for time and attendance. This will allow us to do some of those guided walks that Christine mentioned earlier with the Danielson rubric, PD. It has applicant tracking, which is important for our diversity efforts in hiring. So there's a lot more to it than just the kiosk where they swipe their fob for time and attendance. But that's what this motion is for, and we have to have it phrased this way so we can do the fund transfer. Thank you.
Okay, I will take a motion to assign $47,000 from fiscal year 25 fund 2025 surplus and transfer the same amount into fiscal year 26 to fund 2610. I didn't agree to that part.
This is
Um,
Amy, so moved.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Money, let's take a look at this. We will start with Sarah. How do you vote?
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Anne Marie,
Aye.
Elizabeth,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board self-assessment survey results.
All right.
We don't need a motion, do we?
No, they're just,
Okay.
they're carryover from the retreat.
Okay.
We had 8 people complete the survey, so I think that's great. Let's pull up the right tab here. It's the wrong one. Okay.
Use the
It's
forms.
fine. It's loading. All right, you see it? Yeah. Can't share your screen. Okay, we'll try that again.
As we wait for the technology piece, I'll throw out there that I tend to underscore. I believe, I feel I tend to underscore on these type of things. Yeah.
Oh, so you're the disagreeer? Are you the disagreeer?
I will plead the fifth.
Okay. All right. I'm happy to share this with you. I thought I would pull it up tonight. In the past, I've printed it and people have asked me not to waste paper and color print. So I'm just, if you want it, I copied a couple, but, so these are, this is the annual survey that you fill out, to see how you're doing as a board. Under the section Create a Vision for Education in the Community, the board regularly discusses where the district should be headed in 3 to 5 years into the future. Most people agree. So red is agree. I know it feels like red should be disagree, but red is agree. Blue is strongly agree. And then orange is disagree and green is strongly disagree. John Harrison, I tried to figure out how to change the colors.
It's
today,
very
I didn't do
difficult.
it.
There is a trick to it though.
Yeah, you'll have to show me. So
You'll
blue
have
and
to
red,
remember it.
yeah. Blue and red is agree or strongly agree, and yellow and orange is not. And then purple is you're not sure. So pretty good agreement on, you discuss where the district should be headed. I know we're probably in need of a new strategic plan in the next year or so, but I didn't feel like we should spend the money on that this year because of consolidation. So I think we just stay the course for now.
Yep.
Okay, the board engages the community when establishing the future. There was one person that disagreed, but 7 people that agreed. I know we did, when we did the strategic plan, we had a very good turnout from across the community and many stakeholders. So, but that was, 5 years ago. The vision is focused on what we want for our children. It is written in terms of the expected results for student learning and growth. There's full agreement on that one. The vision is far-reaching, not limited by the walls of the school or borders of the district. There was strong agreement on that one. One person was not sure on that one. Under policy parameters, the board adopts and follows policies to ensure that school resources are used appropriately and effectively to meet district goals. Full agreement on that, which is great. There is a process for soliciting and responding to input from staff and community. Some agreement on that, but maybe that's a place where we could the board could work on a goal around that. I know you've been working on community engagement and communication. So the board delegates responsibility for implementing policy to the administration. Absolutely. The board has developed an ongoing system to review and update all policies every 3 to 5 years. And one person was not sure, but the rest of you are in agreement that we do that. And we try to keep up with all the changes that are brought by the AOE and the VSBA. All right, work with the superintendent to provide educational leadership and to manage the district to achieve the mission. The board has established an excellent working relationship with the superintendent. We have agreement on that. The board has established clear priorities and goals for the superintendent. We have agreement on that. The board annually evaluates the superintendent. We have disagreement on that. We know that one. Monitoring progress toward the vision. So the board regularly evaluates progress towards meeting established school goals specific to student learning. I think we've gotten pretty good about our data work and presenting that to the board. So we're proud of that. The board regularly evaluates progress toward meeting established school goals specific to systems operations. And we had agreement on that. One person who was not sure. Those kind of align with the district quality standards. Would you say, Larry?
Yeah.
Yeah. The board regularly evaluates its performance in meeting established board goals. There was some disagreement in that area. Are you evaluating the goals that you set annually? Some agreement, a little bit of disagreement. The board assures adherence to policy. Everybody agreed on that. You guys are pretty much in alignment this time. Under developing, adopting, and monitoring a budget to support the vision and assuring strong oversight of district finances. The board adopts a budget that focuses on programmatic priorities. There was a majority of agreement, but one person did not agree with that statement. The board develops broad budget parameters and expects the administration to create line item details. Yes. The board engages the community in setting budget priorities. There's some agreement and some disagreement on that one. We could talk about that. The board is attentive to the district's ability to pay. Yes. The board assures that internal controls are in place to protect public funds. It's all those accounting checks and balances Larry talks about. The board carefully monitors expenditure reports to assure the administration is addressing issues with revenues and expenditures. Yes, and one unsure. And then I think this is the last category, engaging the community and supporting the education of students. The board engages the community meaningfully in understanding changes in the education system needed for today's learners. So there was some disagreement on that. And that's again, that community engagement piece.
I think the important part of that is that engaging the community requires not only us engaging, but the community engaging as
Yeah,
well.
you've made great efforts. It's hard to get people to participate for sure. When monitoring progress, the board examines district data by gender, race, and socioeconomic status to measure the success of all students. And again, we've implemented that over the last couple of years. The board keeps the community informed of district performance. Yes, agreement. The annual school budget passes on the first try.
Not always.
Not always. Yeah, especially that really tough year we had in Heartland. Oh, sorry, there is another category. Meeting legal responsibilities. The board stays out of staff and student issues which may result in quasi-judicial hearings before the board. Full agreement on that. The board handles those hearings in a fair and orderly fashion and arrives at a fair and fair conclusion. I don't think we've had one in a while, but agreement there. The board handles collective bargaining responsibilities effectively, seeking to find the proper balance between assuring a highly qualified and motivated workforce and recognizing the taxpayer ability to pay. Absolutely.
That's not easy.
That's not easy, but done it. There's all agreement on that one.
You skipped one. No, I'm sorry. You didn't.
It's okay. Operating legally and ethically. The board adopts and has signed a code of ethics that outlines expectations and commitments. So you all do that at your local board meetings. I think we do that at the retreat. I don't know if we did it at the SU board retreat this year, but you all do it.
I think we touched on it.
Yeah.
And just sort of,
Agreed.
we don't like sign it every year. But
Yeah. Board members respect the fact that they have no official power outside of the actions of the full board. Full agreement on that. The board adheres to open meeting law and carefully follows statutory guidelines for executive session. Yes on that. Board members are respectful to other board members, administrative staff, and community members. Agreement on that. Board members have the information needed to make informed decisions and understand their potential impact. There was one person that did not agree on that one. Regular board meetings are efficient and generally last no more than 1 to 2 hours. 6 people agree and 2 disagree. We've certainly been working on that. Once a board decision is made, dissenting board members respect the board's decision, even if they continue to disagree. We have agreement. One person did not agree on that one. Board members annually participate in board development activities. I know that's a goal that we've been working on, trying to get board members, especially the board chairs, because that's by law. They have to go to that, get some sort of training with superintendent. Board members understand that they're community trustees to assure quality education and that taxpayers get a great return on investment and that they are not operators of the school. We have full agreement on that. So those are the results of your survey. I thought they were pretty positive overall. You're doing a great job as a board. I don't know, the board goals from last year were communication with stakeholders and make tangible progress towards our equity goals by operationalizing and institutionalizing them. Those were some of your goals from last year.
Yes.
So, you know, if we wanted to adjust your goals from last year based on the data from your survey. They're right here, Bill.
Yeah.
Those were last year's. Or if you want to come back to it next month after you kind of
Yeah, I think we
digested
should come
the
back.
survey.
To it.
Okay. Would you like me to send the survey results to you so you have them?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, I will do that. And I'll put it on the agenda. Next month. Okay. And thank you for those of you that were able to take the survey. It's helpful.
When I sat down, once you sent it out again, I sat
You did
down
it?
and Did it.
All right, and stop my sharing. There you go. Okay.
Do we need an executive session?
No. Okay, I don't need one.
It's early in the year, probably not likely. Setting the next agenda. I think it would be good to take a look at the board goals.
Yeah.
On the agenda, time to look at and think what direction we want to take.
Right.
That's your budget
Budget.
adoption.
Yep.
Yep.
We have on the board work plan, we've got, the policies, obviously, second read. I'll do a report, Bridget's up for a report next month. That'll be the data disaggregated, because we'll be done with STAR. And then we have the budget. Anything else, Bill?
Elizabeth?
Thank you. Could you please make sure to get the data out to the board before the meeting takes
Yep,
place?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, great reminder. Thank you.
Negotiation. We're in, this is year
We're off.
2. We are off. Yes, yeah.
You're off. Teachers will be next.
This is the second year, right,
Yes,
of the teacher contract?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Legal contract.
it's a 3-year contract, so,
Start next
I
year.
think it would be advantageous to start early next year. We made an attempt to start the summer before and it
worked.
somewhat.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of changing going on.
Yeah.
I think we as a SU board should at least touch base, not next month, touch base at some point regarding the goal of how we want to proceed in if we do or not, and somehow getting the different associations to merge
As one.
as one. It's not within our power. It's not our preview, but I think it'd be good to set up and pay them to come to a board meeting, just to kind of
To talk about
to
it.
talk about it. Yeah,
Okay, what month are you thinking for that?
I don't know. Later in the year,
After the first of the year?
definitely yes.
February?
Perfect. Okay.
I'll put a note in here so I don't forget.
Elizabeth, is that a
It's a new hand.
new hand? Okay, go ahead.
Can we please hear from Tracy Price at our next meeting?
I think that'd be a good idea, dear. Yeah,
Yeah, she's on. Let me just see when she's on, Elizabeth. We have her scheduled. Yeah, not till December. Would you like the reports next month? Probably a good idea. Tracy, are you still on?
I believe she left.
Okay, I'll let her know. Yeah.
And Elizabeth, you're not looking for anything extensive, just sort of an update?
No, I'd like an update. What is your schedule? Like, why?
You mean the board work plan?
Yeah, why haven't we heard from Tracy in months?
Well, we put her on, after she reported every month for the first year, the board was asked if they wanted to continue having her come every month. And I think the decision was quarterly.
Yeah.
So we have her quarterly coming, but
Mhm.
we can put her on as often as.
And I think the other issue is that, the last time she was scheduled, she was out ill.
Maybe,
And
yeah.
so she skipped that month, so I think
Yeah.
it seems as if it's
Yeah,
a
that's
long
all.
time.
She'll come next month for sure. She'd be happy to report monthly if you want her to.
I know.
Okay. We'll put that on my list right now.
When did that vote take place to have her come quarterly instead of monthly?
I don't think it was a.
Yeah,
The
it wasn't a
vote, she
vote.
put out
I
an
think Chris-
email,
Yeah,
like, would you like me to continue to report monthly? And,
I think we discussed it at
I think
an
we
SU
did.
mean it was in the old office. So
Yeah, it
it must have
was.
been back
Yeah.
in the winter.
if it seems a little too long, I mean, I'm happy to move it to every other month.
she'd be happy to. She
Because I agree with you, Elizabeth. It does seem as if it's quarterly may not be enough.
Okay.
And we tried
Especially if
that.
she missed a quarter. I mean, that's now 6 months if we wait until December.
Yeah,
If we are going to be working on our school culture, shouldn't we have somebody speak directly to school culture?
Yes. She'll come.
good point, Elizabeth. Thank you for being
Thank you.
on top of it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Okay, got it.
Okay. I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
So second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just under 2 hours.
Very well done, Val.
Thank you.